Alright, hey everybody, it is Tony and I am back. Got three good returns. Got the one no can do'sville baby doll from Mr. Jose Cruz Sr. Uh, Jose took 25 days to return my three cards, and that note that said $3 each card. A month prior, he was still returning for free, so I don't know. But Jose Cruz Sr. is now $3 per card. Otherwise, he'll return your stuff unsigned. My first return that was signed was Mr. Ernie Witt, 15 years in the big leagues, mostly with the Blue Jays. 12 of those 15 years were with the Blue Jays, and 1 year with Atlanta. Started his career with Boston, only had 8 games as the backup to Carlton Fisk. That's primarily why he was traded. And then he ended his career in 1991, with the Baltimore Orioles. Played until he was 39 years old, had one All-Star appearance in 1985, didn't get an at-bat in that All-Star game. The starting catcher happened to be Carlton Fisk in 1985, and then he came in and played a couple of innings, didn't get an at-bat, was pinch hit for 1985. He did have some postseason games, helped Toronto to an ALCS in 1985, where they lost to the Kansas City Royals in 7 games, and then they lost to the Oakland A's, the mighty Oakland A's, in 1989. Played 5 of those games, all 5 of those games against the A's in 1989. The first year Skydome was open, which happens to be not my favorite ballpark. It's primarily a football field. That the seats are angled for football, not really for baseball, even though I don't know. I don't like Skydome or Rogers Center or whatever it's called now. And my next return is from Mr. Doug Sisk, 9 years in the Bigs. He came up with New York in 1982. Played with the Mets until 1987, was part of that 1986 New York Mets World Series team. During that World Series season, he was 4-2 in 41 games, had 1 save in 70 2/3 innings, and had a 3.06 ERA that year. Between 83 and 84, I guess he was kind of their closer for New York. 104 1/3 innings in 1983, had 11 saves, pitched in 67 games, and then in 1984 was 1-3 with a 2.09 ERA in 50 games and pitched 77 2/3 innings. In 1986, in that World Series year, he pitched 1 game in the NLCS, gave up 1 hit, walked 1, and that was all she wrote. I'm not sure what game he pitched against Houston. Maybe it was that what was that, a 17 or an 18 inning game against the Astros? Carl Topia could be able to tell you that one. And then he pitched 2/3 of an inning in the 1986 World Series, walked 1. It was an intentional walk and fanned 1. Doug Sisk. He also wrapped up his career with the Braves in 1991. 14 1/3 inning. 14 1/3 inning. Sorry, he pitched in Atlanta for 90 and 91. Total of 17 innings between the 2 years. He also had a long 1 season with the Orioles in 1988, 94 and 1/3 innings pitched that year. So Mr. Doug Sisk signed 2 for me, including that 1984 Topps, which I'm working on to get signed. Same with Mr. Ernie Witt. My next TTM comes from another World Series legend, Mr. Kevin Tapani. Mr. Tapani played 15 years in the big leagues, mostly with the Twins and the Cubs. 7 years with the Twins. Part of that 1991 World Series team with the Twins. He was 7th in the Cy Young that year. He was 5th in Rookie of the Year voting in 1990. In that 1990 Rookie of the Year, Sandy Alomar won the Rookie of the Year. He was followed by Kevin Moss, Kevin Napier, John Olerud. Behind Kevin Tapani, who I said finished 5th, was Travis Fryman, Robin Ventura, Ben McDonald, Alex Cole, and Scott Radinsky. Tapani's most wins in his career came in 1998 when he helped the Cubs to an NLDS appearance, got swept right out of the playoffs by the Atlanta Braves. 1998 will always hold a special place in my heart with all those home runs by Slam and Sammy Sosa. But back to Kevin Tapani, he was 19-9 that year, 4.85 ERA, 219 innings pitched, and he struck out 136. His career high in strikeouts came in 1996 when he fanned 150 batters when he played his 1 year with the Chicago White Sox. Kevin Tapani wrapped up his career in 2001. The 2001 Cubs were almost there, almost made it to the playoffs, but they were 5 games behind the Astros and the Cardinals, who tied for the division championship that year. So those are my returns this week. Doug Sisk, Ernie Witt, and Mr. Kevin Tapani. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one. Bye-bye.